This year's midterm elections could significantly impact the future of U.S. politics. With 23 Democratic Senate seats up for re-election and just 11 Republican seats on the line, the GOP is eyeing a potential takeover. Democrats will need to defend their narrow majority, but with many races in key battleground states, the path is anything but certain. Let's dive into a state-by-state breakdown of every race to see which party is in the best position to control the Senate after Election Day. Let's start by looking at the states that are all but guaranteed to stay in Democratic hands, barring a major political shift. In Washington, four-term Democratic Senator Maria Cantwell is running for re-election. With Washington being a reliably blue state and Cantwell having won her last race with 58% of the vote, this seat is considered very safe for the Democrats. Washington hasn't elected a Republican senator since 1994. And with Biden winning the state by nearly 20 points in 2020, Cantwell should coast to victory. California is another solid blue state. The passing of longtime Senator Dianne Feinstein in 2023 has led to a race between Democrats, but the general election features Adam Schiff as the likely winner. Schiff, a well-known figure in national politics, will face Republican Steve Garvey, but in a state Biden won by nearly 30 points, Schiff is expected to secure a comfortable victory. Hawaii's Senate seat is one of the safest for Democrats. Senator Mazie Hirono is running for her third term and won her last race with 71% of the vote. Hawaii is deep blue, and Hirono's popularity ensures she will be re-elected easily. In New Mexico, Martin Heinrich is seeking a third term. Heinrich won his last race with 54% in a three-way contest, and polling shows him with a strong lead. New Mexico has trended Democratic in recent years, with Biden winning by 11 points, making Heinrich's seat a safe Democratic hold. Amy Klobuchar is running for her fourth term in Minnesota. She is one of the most popular Democratic senators, consistently winning by wide margins. Despite Minnesota being competitive in presidential elections, Klobuchar's strong favorability makes this seat a lock for the Democrats. In Virginia, Tim Kaine is up for re-election. Kaine, a former vice presidential candidate, won his last race by more than 15 points, and he holds a solid lead in current polling. Virginia, though a battleground state at the presidential level, remains a safe Democratic seat in this Senate race. Northeast Democratic strongholds. New York's Kirsten Gillibrand is expected to secure re-election easily. She won her last race with 67% of the vote, and New York remains solidly Democratic, with Biden winning the state by 23 points in 2020. Gillibrand's seat is one of the safest for Democrats. Vermont's Bernie Sanders and Massachusetts' Elizabeth Warren are both running for re-election and are expected to win by large margins. Vermont and Massachusetts are two of the bluest states in the country, with Biden winning them by over 30 points each. Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island and Chris Murphy of Connecticut are also running for re-election. Both senators have consistently won by significant margins in previous elections, and these states remain safely in the Democratic column. Independent Senator Angus King, who caucuses with the Democrats, is seeking re-election in Maine. King is one of the most popular politicians in the state and has bipartisan appeal. He is expected to win comfortably, maintaining this seat within the Democratic caucus. Mid-Atlantic Democratic holds. New Jersey's Senate race became notable due to Senator Bob Menendez's legal issues, but the Democratic nominee, Congressman Andy Kim, is expected to win. New Jersey is a strongly Democratic state, and Kim's candidacy gives the party a solid chance to hold this seat, despite the scandal surrounding Menendez. In Delaware, Senator Tom Carper's retirement opens the door for Lisa Blunt Rochester, who is expected to win. Delaware is Biden's home state, and the Democratic Party's hold on this Senate seat is secure. Maryland's Senate race could have been more competitive if former Republican Governor Larry Hogan had run, but with his decision to sit out, Democratic nominee Angela Alsobrooks is now heavily favored. Maryland is a deep blue state, and Alsobrooks should easily win. Now, let's turn to the Republican seats that are essentially guaranteed for the GOP. In Utah, Congressman John Curtis has been nominated to succeed Senator Mitt Romney, who is retiring. Utah is a solid Republican state, and Curtis is expected to win easily. Utah has not elected a Democrat to the Senate in 50 years, making this a safe seat for the GOP. Wyoming's John Barrasso and Nebraska's Deb Fischer are both running for re-election in deeply Republican states. These seats are not competitive, and both senators are heavily favored to win. Wyoming, in particular, is the most Republican state in the country, making Barrasso's re-election all but certain. North Dakota's Kevin Cramer and Missouri's Josh Hawley are both seeking re-election in solidly Republican states. Both incumbents are popular within their party and are expected to win comfortably, especially with Missouri and North Dakota's strong lean toward Trump in recent elections. Roger Wicker in Mississippi and Marsha Blackburn in Tennessee are running for re-election in two deep red states. Neither race is expected to be competitive, and both senators should secure re-election easily. Indiana's Jim Banks is poised to replace outgoing Senator Mike Braun, who is running for governor. West Virginia is set to flip from blue to red, as Republican Governor Jim Justice is running to succeed Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, who is retiring. Justice is extremely popular in the state, and West Virginia has trended Republican in recent years, making this a likely GOP pickup. Key battleground states where the Senate will be won. Now, let's focus on the most competitive Senate races, where control of the Senate could be decided. Arizona is one of the most closely watched races this cycle. Democratic Congressman Ruben Gallego is facing off against Republican Kari Lake, a prominent figure from Arizona's 2022 gubernatorial race. Gallego currently holds a slight lead in the polls, but this race could go either way, as Arizona remains a true battleground. In Nevada, Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen is defending her seat against Republican challenger Sam Brown. Polls show Rosen with a lead, but Nevada has been trending more competitive in recent years. This will be a crucial race for Democrats to hold if they want to maintain their Senate majority. Wisconsin is another critical state for both parties. Senator Tammy Baldwin, a Democrat, is seeking re-election and holds a small lead in the polls. Wisconsin has been a swing state in recent elections, and Baldwin will have to fight hard to hold on to her seat against Republican challenger Eric Hovde. In Michigan, Democratic Senator Debbie Stabenow's retirement has opened the door for a competitive race. Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin is the Democratic nominee, facing Republican Mike Rogers. Slotkin has maintained a lead in the polls, but Michigan remains a key battleground state that could shift as the election nears. Pennsylvania's Senate race is another top battleground, with Democratic incumbent Bob Casey Jr. seeking re-election. Casey has led in the polls against Republican challenger David McCormick, but Pennsylvania's status as a swing state means this race is far from decided. In Texas, Senator Ted Cruz is facing Democratic Congressman Colin Allred in a race that has gotten tighter than expected. Cruz won his last race by only 3 points, and while Texas remains a Republican-leaning state, Allred has mounted a strong challenge. Cruz is still favored, but this is a race to watch closely. Florida's Senate race features incumbent Rick Scott running for re-election against Democrat Debbie Mucarsel-Powell. Scott has held a narrow lead in the polls, but Florida's history of tight races means this contest could remain competitive up to Election Day. Ohio's Sherrod Brown is one of the few remaining Democrats holding statewide office in this increasingly Republican state. Brown has consistently outperformed his party in Ohio, but he faces a tough re-election battle. He currently leads his Republican challenger, Bernie Moreno, but this race will be closely contested. In Montana, Democratic Senator John Tester is facing an uphill battle. Tester has a history of winning tight races, but Montana's Republican lean, especially in a presidential election year, makes this one of the GOP's top targets for a flip. As of now, Republicans are favored to win control of the Senate, with a projected 52 seats to the Democrats' 48. However, with several key battlegrounds still in play, this balance could shift. Races in Arizona, Ohio, Nevada, and Wisconsin will likely determine the final outcome. This completes the full breakdown of the 2024 Senate races. Don't forget to subscribe for more election coverage and leave a comment letting us know your thoughts on the Senate. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.